Hello everyone, welcome to another live video. In this one, I'm going to be revealing to you how you can make a narcissist lose control. Now, why do you want to make a narcissist lose control? Is it because you're a mean, vengeful person? No, of course not. It's because you're tired of this narcissist having their foot on your neck. So you want some room to breathe. You want a sense of peace, calm, stability, freedom. That's why you want to make the narcissist lose control. Because they're constantly pressuring, suffocating you. And you don't like how that feels. So you want to remove their control over you. And let me tell you, my friends, you have come to the right place. Being a narcissist expert, and having been doing this now for, or researching about it for 8 years, coaching hundreds of people around the world. Yes, it's safe to say that I do know what I'm talking about. And yes, by the end of this video, you will know exactly what you need to do to make that narcissist in your life lose control once and for all. Now, a big part of this, of how they are able to establish this control over you, it's because you are still operating within the realms of their arena, their world. So you may not even realize that you're thinking in this way, but you're still showing some level of interest. You still care about something. So you are still invested in it. You are absorbed. And that's how you feel that they have this control over you. And that is why victims will argue with the narcissist, because they care, they're invested. So this means that you believe that there is something of significance, of value at stake here. Something to believe in, something to fight for. Now, I'm here to tell you that there isn't. When you are dealing with a narcissist, it is all about themselves. Now, you just look back throughout your relationship and think for a moment. When was it ever about you? When was it ever about your feelings, your needs? It never was. But what keeps them comfortable, what provides them with a sense of security and stability, feel that they are something valuable is when you do believe in this illusion. Is when you do believe that they could actually care about someone other than themselves. And so by doing that, you're holding them afloat. You act as a platform for them, a safety net. And that's only so that they can go out in the world and seek supply from someone else, knowing that you are longing and yearning for something, feeling like you're missing out on something, wanting or desiring something from them. And that's how they get you. They cage you, trap you, imprison you, contain you, domesticate you, for that very reason. So that they can farm you for your energy, your validation. And that's the whole purpose of targeting you. And so it's you're giving them a sense of control by giving them supply, by giving them validation, to where they then feel superior. Now, what you need to do, if you want to make the narcissist lose control, if you want to make them spiral, is that first you must have this realization. No amount of fawning, longing, yearning, or as some people like to call it in the manosphere, simping, no amount of doing that is going to change anything for you. No amount of caring, no amount of investment, it's not going to make anything different. You're never going to get anything more than what you've gotten before. And in fact, the more you give, the less you're going to get. There's never going to be any worthwhile reciprocation. There just isn't. Because you're dealing with a narcissist. So, whatever you're thinking about in your mind, I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on in your relationship, in your situation. I'm not there. I'm not a fly on the wall. So I don't know exactly what you think is at stake there. But just look back a few months before, a few years before. What have you gotten in that time frame? What have you received that makes you think that it's so worthwhile and that you really need to care? Think about it. Because if it was anything that good, you probably would have seen it by now. You probably would have a good relationship, a good life by now. And that's how you should realize, you should come to this conclusion that this thing really isn't working for you. That no matter how much you care, no matter how much you love this narcissist, nothing is ever going to be any better. Nothing is ever going to be any different. And in fact, you're just making them feel comfortable. You're making them feel like they're doing good, like they're okay. Meanwhile, you're suffering. You're not happy in this relationship. So you really just need to stop. Stop caring about them. Stop giving them your time, your attention, and begin to pull away. So you stop reacting emotionally. Stop getting all worked up when they provoke you, when they project onto you, when they try to pull the rug out from underneath you. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain. Don't correct. Don't overextend yourself. Because That's what they want. That's the whole point, you know. They targeted you, they wore a mask, knowing that they're not on your level. And then they start feeling secure, so they destabilize you. They pull the rug out from underneath you, which leaves you trying to restore some sense of stability, to overextend yourself. When it's just not, it's not for you to even do that. That's their job to invest now, to meet you halfway, to reciprocate back what you've already given. That's their job now. So, you know, it's a good analogy would be, you know, I'm in Swansea in Wales at the moment. So let's say I'm going to meet someone and we agree to meet halfway between, let's just say halfway between Scotland in the Lake District. So I agree to meet someone in the Lake District. I'm coming from Swansea, they're coming from Scotland. And then I get all the way to the Lake District. And now they're saying, oh no, I can't get there. Can you meet me in Scotland? Another 6-7 hours drive away. That's not on me to do that. Why should I go all the way up there? Why can't they come down and meet me halfway? And this is it. Even if you do overextend yourself, as many of you have already, so you take that trip all the way up to Scotland, now suddenly, maybe you're not immediately, but eventually, now they're on the other side of the world. So you see where it's going. You end up doing everything, take a responsibility for everything. And it's all because clearly you're in a very dysfunctional, toxic relationship. And you're having to do everything. You're having to carry the load. And they're not ever going to meet you halfway. And it's always going to be you who is trying to create this sense of stability where really none exists. It's no different, like I mentioned in a past live video. It's like the narcissist. Taking all of your things, all of your possessions, throwing them all up in the air, and then expecting you to reach out to try and catch as many of them as you can. They deliberately create instability, and then automatically they expect you to be like a parent, a caretaker, and restore order. So they throw all of the things, all of your possessions up in the air. You're having to reach out and just try and catch as many as you can in your hands. And here's the crazy part about it. Naturally, you know, you have limits. You've only got 2 hands. Now they can throw as many things up in the air as they want. So you're going to reach out, you're going to fall on the floor, trying to catch as many of your possessions as you can. They're going to be there laughing at you, ridiculing you. And not only that, blaming you. They'll be saying to you, oh, so why did you catch that possession? Why didn't you catch the other one? As though in this extremely chaotic, dysfunctional situation, you're meant to have everything planned out. You're meant to be able to predict exactly what you can save. It's ridiculous. But this is how these people think. They are crazy. And this is why you've really just got to stop. Stop explaining yourself. Stop defending yourself. Stop trying to correct everything. Let it be broken. Let everything be screwed up. Or at least what you could do is arrange things through authorities. Because when you're dealing with narcissists, it's always going to be chaotic. It's always going to be dysfunctional. That's how they want it to be. They don't want things to be normal. They don't feel comfortable in that because things aren't normal in their heads. They experience constant internal chaos. But this is it. When you respond calmly or not at all, now they feel invisible. When you remove access without drama, panic replaces power. And when you stop feeding their narrative, they lose the storyline. When you become unpredictable, their manipulation stops working. Because they get this sense of power and control from really just stringing you along into their narrative, from what they want things to mean. These are really just projections of their own insecurities. Their accusations are their confessions. It's how they feel about themselves. But they use this to create a desired result, a desired outcome of what they want you to do or how they want you to feel. And it's really just a reflection of how they feel about themselves or of their own insecurities. That's all that it is. And they want you to get wound up. They want you to hate them. But when you detach without hatred, now they can't provoke supply. And this is it, you just got to recognize the narcissist. No, they are not worth it. They're not worth your time, energy, frustration. It's a waste of your time. You can get all worked up, you can get anxious, frustrated, resentful, all you want. It's not going to change the outcome or results. It's not going to make anything better by stressing about it. Yes, they may act like they're your rescuer, your savior, but just look back and see how much has changed or improved. And this is it. It's one step forward, 2 steps back. You invest so much, and gradually, spontaneously, they will give a fraction of what you've given to them. They will return it back to you over a very long period of time. And then that keeps you invested. That keeps you expecting, thinking that this is actually working. But that's because you're not looking all the way back at the beginning of the relationship or before you got involved with them. Because if you did that, you would see you're not taking any steps forward at all. You're not making any progress. And in fact, you've already taken about 10,000 steps back, thinking that you're going back to some normality when you're not. You're really not. And this is it. This is what happens at the end of the relationship. It's like you wake up and you realize that you have gone from the top of the mountain now to the depths of hell. That's where you're at now, from where you were before. So what I'm saying is, it's a waste of your time worrying about the narcissist, arguing with them. Arguing for what? You're fighting over nothing. Just forget about it. And forget about it, because nothing is ever going to come out of it from arguing with them. Now, of course, if we're talking about an actual loss, let's say if it's money or children, that's a completely different thing. But even then, you don't argue with them. You deal with that through the law. And even then, it's going to be very difficult. Just being realistic, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get your children back, for you to get money back, property, things that they've stolen. Because the whole point of why they target you and why they use you for supply is because you're the one who has everything. They don't. And that's why whatever you think you've ever gotten from them in return isn't even a fraction of what you've given out. And really, just let that sink in. Really realize your worth. Because they're never going to tell you what you're worth. How would that benefit them in any way? So what you need to do now, and this also causes them to lose control, because the whole point of how they gain control over you is by keeping you in a bind, keeping you in dissonance, where you think that there's something worthwhile, something worth your investment. What happens is you get tricked, you get deceived. It's kind of like you go to a car dealership, you purchase a vehicle, maybe it's a used car dealership, and they make it out like this car is so wonderful. And then you get it, you drive it around for a few days, suddenly you realize it's got all of these problems, all of these issues, and these repairs. Now you're stuck in a bind, and they have control over you now. Now you've got to keep on going back to them. They may ask you to pay more money. Exact same thing as what happens with the narcissist. So, this is how they get you. This is how they trap you. You've got to realize it's not worth it. It's not worth your time, not worth your investment. And you've got to start seeing things from their perspective. I mean, why did they target you? Why did they want your investment? Clearly, you must have a lot of value. So focus on your life. Focus on yourself. They clearly see some value in you. That's what they were able to take from you, drain you. And when you focus on your life, jealousy ignites. Now they feel like you're taking something away from them. They've lost something with you. They feel that they have lost control. Because this is it, this is what they do. They create a disturbance. They create unrest, instability in your life. And then they leave you chasing after them for closure, answers. But when you don't chase closure, and instead you find a sense of peace within yourself, then they spiral internally. Then they feel a loss of control. Because their sense of control, their sense of stability came from you. from making you worry, from making you care, from disturbing you. And that's just what they do, because they're very disturbed people. But this is how you should know that when you move on quietly, the narcissist will fracture. They will sense that they have lost control. They will lose their minds. They will panic. And that's when you need to be very, very careful. Because typically they're going to come after you. Once they sense that they've lost control, you're no longer worried, anxious, or confused. You've found a sense of peace, stability within yourself. You've raised your vibration. You've had a spiritual awakening. You've connected back to the source. Now they're really going to be on your ass after that. Because that's when they know they've lost control. And they sense it immediately when your energy shifts, when your focus is off of them, and now you're following God, you're following your purpose. You found that peace within yourself. That's when they hunt you down. That's when they really just want to destroy you. Because that is what takes away their control. It's when something else outside of them has the authority over you. That could be God. That could be a new relationship partner, a friend. It could be yourself. But something else has the authority over you. And they see it as though it's not like you're being influenced in a positive way. They look at it as though you're being manipulated. You're being fooled. You're being gaslit, scammed, conned. That's how they think. And they don't like it. They don't like that loss of control. But either way, they will still come back. But sometimes what they may do, although most of you won't experience this, but if it's something where a narcissist can read into the situation and they can see, okay, this other person is a manipulator, is a similar kind, is a con artist, is a narcissist too. Typically, they will work together unknowingly to you. They will work together to control you in some sort of way. Because narcissists do work together in workplaces, in family dynamics, in everything. Narcissists always work together. So if you have moved on to another person, and then you find out that that person is a narcissist too, it depends if you're living in quite a small town, quite a small area, where people know each other, or maybe through social media. The narcissist you were with before will likely be working with the narcissist that you were with after them. They will be connected in some sort of way. And I've seen this so many times in the past, with myself and other people as well. And it's because the narcissist views other narcissists as extensions of themselves. You are alien, foreign to them. They don't understand your love, connection, purpose. It means nothing to them. They're spiritually disconnected. And that's why, their worst nightmare is you finding some higher authority, whether that is yourself, God, or a new relationship partner. That's their worst nightmare. Because in order for them to have control over you and to continue using you as supply, they must have that authority over you. Now, that's all that they really want. I mean, they want to have power and authority. Not that there's anything wrong with power and authority in itself. It's just wrong in the wrong hands, because they don't mean you any well. They're abusive. They're corrupt. Now, if you were to have that power and authority, there would be nothing wrong with that at all. You being the victim. Of course, as long as you can be disciplined and, of course, I understand we all have desires, and we all want to have fun. And there's nothing wrong with that, But as long as you can keep it in check, you don't let your desires get out of control. Like if you have a lot of money, you're not just going and buying houses and cars everywhere. Instead, you're saving money up. You're thinking about the future. That's how you know that you're spiritually connected. You're on your purpose. You're thinking logically, rationally, rather than being impulsive and emotional. So even though, you may have the power, you may have authority, you have control, self-control. And that's why typically in that situation, you're not seeking too much validation from other people. You're not trying to control them, their perception. So that's how that works. But yeah, what I mean is that, having power, not always a bad thing. And a person who has power, of course, you must have worked very hard to attain that. And so by all means, enjoy it. Enjoy the power that you have. But also do not abuse it. That's the thing with narcissists, is that some of them work very hard to attain power. Some of them just steal it. Either way, once they get it, they abuse it. They use it to corrupt people. Guaranteed, people who do that, they will be harmed. They will be punished. They will be taught a lesson for that. Maybe they won't be caught by the authorities. But there will be, at some level, there will be some form of something that comes back against them in some way. And you could be sure of that, whatever energy you put out there, it's going to come back to you. It will. It never leads them anywhere good. Abusing power, establishing unjust authority, being very controlling over people. It doesn't help them. But as for you, breaking free from their control, by you doing that, you're not trying to control them. You're not abusing your power of finding your freedom. That's not an abuse of power. That's completely different. And it's important, to recognize that difference, because I know many of you, after being in the fog for so long, you may feel some sense of guilt. And so you're doing the wrong thing. You don't deserve to be free. You should remain under their control. You should remain as their emotional punching bag. But no, that's not what it's about at all. But yeah. I do apologize about all of the trolls in the live chat. I can see. Just scrolling through it now. I missed all of it. I don't read it because, that's what they do, is they will type a comment and get you to question yourself. So as you can see in the live chat, they say, do you have a Scottish accent? You look Egyptian. So they get you to question your identity so that you then disconnect from yourself. They do that because they are disconnected from themselves. And they're seeking a form of escape, a form of amusement, entertainment, a plaything, a toy. And it's because either they were always disconnected anyway, but or maybe we disconnected them from themselves. Because that can happen, if you are a confident person on your purpose, you can make people disconnect to where they can't be vulnerable and they try to disconnect you. That does happen. But, I'm quite happy remaining connected to myself. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm quite happy with who I am at this point. 37 years old. I've acquired a lot of wisdom, experience, done all of the things that I wanted to do, inspired millions of people around the world. So, but I do take some time to myself sometimes where I might play some video games or watch some videos on YouTube. That's the kind of escape that I like. But as for disconnecting on a live video, just to make some trolls on the live chat feel comfortable, that's not really my cup of tea. I mean, this is really the time, if there ever is a time, this is the time to be connected, to be vulnerable. But yeah, this is what they do, they have to create confusion. So you start questioning yourself. Really think about that, questioning yourself. That's what they do. They create doubt and confusion, which leaves us questioning ourselves. All you do is just put a space in that word, yourself. Yourself. You're questioning yourself because your thoughts, ideas, feelings, beliefs, all of these things are connected to yourself. And that's just it. That's what gives them power and control. And you're not growing into a better self. They're bringing you down because they have no clue who they are. They're corrupt. So, yeah, I mean, it's not always bad to question yourself. Just don't let a narcissist do that to you. Someone who's self-absorbed, lacking empathy and exploitative, with delusions of grandiosity. Now, as for someone who may be a coach, a role model, let them question yourself. Yes, let them question, maybe not your feelings. I mean, you should know your feelings better than anyone. But let them help you to question your thoughts, ideas, beliefs. That can be very helpful. And that's what made me the man that I am today. Watching coaches on YouTube, being fully absorbed in their content, to where I let them channel through me and question every part of me. Just don't let the narcissist do that to you, because they do not have your best interest in mind. But yeah, anyway, that's what this channel is about. It's all about relieving you of the anxiety and confusion, waking you up, giving you a sense of stability and control over your life. Because, maybe it is just my childhood conditioning, where I was trained to always just carry the load for people and try and restore stability. Maybe that's why it makes me feel good. But either way, even logically speaking, I think it's just the right thing to do. And so that's what I want for all of you, is to be clear-minded, is to experience that sense of peace and stability for yourselves. That's why, I'm almost addicted to putting out these videos, answering any questions that you may have. Because I want you all to come to the light. I want you all to wake up. Even though at times that may be uncomfortable. And that's the difference between us and narcissists. The narcissist, they want you to remain asleep. They want you to remain in a coma where you can't think straight, you can't even speak. That's what the narcissist wants for you. And why do they want that for you? It's because if you weren't in that psychological coma, if you were awake, you would realize, hold on a minute, this situation isn't fair. I'm worth so much more than this. I deserve so much more than this. And that's why so many of you, what happens when you leave the narcissist is you do get a lot more than this. You become so much happier, healthier, successful in everything. Because, you were right all along. You did deserve so much more. And that's the whole point of why they manipulate, gaslight you, just wear you down all the time, so that you start to doubt and question yourself. You start thinking there's all of these things wrong with you now. But that's just it. And those who do manage to get out in the love bombing phase, they quickly realize it's all a load of nonsense. There's nothing wrong with me at all. And they realize that if anything, I'm better than most people in this world. And that's why the narcissist targeted me. That's what those people realize. It's just many of you don't get to have that realization, at least not immediately, because you stayed with a narcissist too long, to the point where it screwed up your mind, your memory, and it leaves you thinking that you're the problem. And then to make matters worse, they smear you. They have all of these people telling you that something is wrong with you. It's all just a cover-up. It's to conceal the narcissist condition, not yours. So, that's a big part of what this is about, is that you're really great. You're a really wonderful person who is better off than most people, mentally, emotionally, just in every way. That's the whole point of why they targeted you. That's what made you a good source of supply. Now, that being said, none of us are perfect. And of course, after being involved with a narcissist, we do have some work to do. We do need to take some responsibility. And yeah, we need to work on ourselves. And that's just it. That's why the narcissist never gets better, because they never do that. Yes, they may have been a victim before, but they're not taking responsibility now for what they have to deal with. Instead, they're blaming everyone else. They're using people. But that's never going to make them any better. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. Drop a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know if you agree with what I've said to you. If you have any questions. Subscribe, share the video. Check out the website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. TikTok and Instagram, it's Narc Survivor Coaching. X, it's Narc Survivor 18. Facebook group, it's Narc Survivor. And if you would like to help support this work, you can send me something for Christmas. Just go to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. And I appreciate all contributions, no matter how small. I'm very grateful. Thank you. And yeah, thank you all for joining me on this video. Thank you all for your support. And I'll talk to you in another one very soon.